Stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
But we got a team in here. And this is like intent. Now every time up here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, 4-question Friday here. Vikings-Packers week, baby. We got all kinds of stuff also coming up tomorrow on Purple Props. We'll pick the game. Vikings Vent Line right after the game is over. Let's make it another huge one. You guys helped us set a record for that Halloween night game against the Cowboys, mostly because it was a meltdown. Let's pump it up on Sunday if you have a chance, even for like 20, 30 minutes after that game's over, on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Vikings Vent Line, the most interactive, fan-friendly show in Minnesota sports. This is Purple Daily, presented by Surly, Mackie, Judd, executive producer Declan. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. It's really not that complicated on this show.
And not that much. Not that much to ask for if you really think about it.
60 years. Let's get it. Come on.
I'm almost 30.
Come on, guys.
I'm 29 in 3 weeks here. I'm knocking on the door of 30 here. Judd's 52, right? You just turned 52?
I just turned 52. I mean,
Yeah.
Dex, you've got the bad genes.
Oh, and my life,
So, like-
my family history and my health suggests that I am not here for a long time.
Yeah, so I mean, you
Here
don't
for a
have
good time.
like
Get this thing going here.
clock is ticking here. Clock is ticking. Phil, high cholesterol. I mean, the clock is ticking on this
For
show.
sure. Yeah, seriously.
This is like time bomb.
Got to make this thing happen here. And maybe you're even watching on a TCL TV, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands, and they have a new lineup of award-winning TVs with the most entertainment and stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. Let's jump into a 4-question Friday. We're going to play you an audio clip here of Keyshawn Johnson, actually on Score North Radio, which you can find AM 1500 in the Twin Cities. He said this on the Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max program about Mike Zimmer. Declan has the audio. Let's cue it up.
Kirk Cousins and that offense has to get going at home. You know, Thielen, Dalvin Cook, along with Jefferson. If they can put some points on the board, this offense that they have is a lot like, in terms of scheme and potential in terms of personnel, a lot like the Dallas Cowboys. A quarterback, some receivers, a running game, and Mike Zimmer is due. This is a big game for Mike Zimmer. If Mike Zimmer misses the playoffs this year, he could be a gunner.
And so with that, I'm going to piggyback with, it's Feedback Friday on Mackie and Judd, so I'm going to bring in Luke Pemberton via the Score North app. He asks this question. You can always ask us questions through the Score North app. He says, I know Judd has talked a lot about how Zim will likely be gone after this season, and I think most fans agree with that. My question is, do you think we would keep Mike if the offense really took steps forward and became as aggressive as we all want it to be? Let's say we make the playoffs or win a game. Do you think there's any chance Mike Zimmer stays if it's clear he has become more dedicated to offense, and let's say in the offseason, maybe you make a change at coordinator or something, etc.? So Keyshawn saying, hey, this is kind of a save-your-job game. Luke's question about what would it take for Zim to continue on as Vikings coach. That's kind of question number one here. Zimmer.
So there's always a chance, and the Wolves like Mike. I think he's gone personally, but the problem is this: if Mike has found God now when it comes to offense, how much of it do we need to see to be convinced it's real? And that, like in April, he won't be like, okay, now we're gonna buckle down on my first passion defense. That's the problem. And also, I think that we've seen enough about the components around this team offensively that aren't being developed probably correctly. Do you want Mike near your next quarterback, especially if it's a young guy? My personal answer is no. Justin Jefferson has been misused. Am I confident that if Mike sticks around, that will change? So while there is always a chance that Mike doesn't get fired, I really believe that if you're the Wilfs and you examine this rationally, that you're saying to yourself, it's an offensive league. We're probably going to be moving on a quarterback fairly shortly here. I mean, the Chargers game was fun and that was great, but is that going to keep up? And I just keep coming back to the responsible answer is no.
Declan, what about you?
Here's my fear, because I thought in the Chargers game that he took significant steps forward, and I said, I believe, on statements on Monday after the game when they beat the Chargers that Mike Zimmer is adapting. That's all gravy, and he can continue to take more shots and be more aggressive on offense. But I think once the offseason hits, and he starts looking at the 30,000-foot view, and he starts going to the podium for the first time at the Combine, and they ask, what do you need to do to fix your team? He's going to resort right back to, well, our offense took steps forward, but my defense needs fixing again. My defense needs this. My defense needs that. And instead, if he went out and said, you know what, our bread and butter is our offense, great, but he's probably going to default back to his Mike Zimmer ways by the offseason once he surveys what this team looked like over the stretch run of 2021, and then he's going to be like, I need more help on defense, when this team's MO is offense. That's my biggest fear. He's gonna look back in the offseason and want more help on the defensive side of the ball.
To me, this is Mike Zimmer's last stand here, the next 2 months. This is it, dude. Like you got everything you wanted in the offseason, and yeah, there's been some injuries, but every team deals with injuries. You can't just, when guys get hurt, Danielle Hunter's a huge loss, but players get hurt. Big time receivers go down, running backs get lost, defensive linemen, it happens. It's this expectation that, well, everything needs to be healthy and perfect. It's like, that's not how it works. So I think he needs to find a way to really show on both sides of the ball that he has reached his peak capabilities as a head coach. It's all in front of you. You got weapons all over the place. Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins is probably playing the best overall season of his career to this point. Some of the numbers would bear that out. So, if they fall short, and whatever that means, people have different interpretations, but if they fall short of like the NFC Championship game, if they fall short of Super Bowl contention, I'm good. I'm good moving on to the next coach, maybe even good moving on to the next quarterback, depending on what options are available. I'm just good. So that's my thought on his job security.
But Phil, don't you feel like also just the overview of the entire story is it feels like it's time for a change? Like, do you want him around the next quarterback? Do you want, like,
that's what I'm saying. If he finds a way to take this team, beat the Packers on Sunday, go on a run, and they get to the Super Bowl, right?
Okay, Super Bowl,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, then now you've clearly shown and taken a step as a coach, like an overall leader. But if they don't go far and they don't become Super Bowl contenders, I'm good.
I just feel like it's time for a different direction.
Yeah, well, you would, but if they went to the Super Bowl, you would probably say, "Oh, Mike Zimmer's direction got better," right?
Yeah, but true.
Yeah, we'll start with beating the Packers on Sunday, and then we could take some steps from
there.
We'll
revisit it when we're doing these shows in February from
You like that?
Super Bowl.
It'd be awesome. Like that? All right, question number 2 here for Question Friday. If the Vikings win on Sunday, what will your opinion about how far they can go the rest of the season be? I want you to foreshadow if they, let's say they win this game, 31-23, and they look good. It's a good, solid win over the Packers. 2 straight wins, back to 500. What will your opinion be on Monday about what they can do the rest of the year?
6 or 7 seed, eliminated probably first round of the playoffs, maybe get to the second round again, which for me is not sufficient. But my short-term opinion is going to be what I said coming out of the Chargers game, which is, again, do it again. Like, you haven't proven that you can do that. String together, and don't string. See, the problem with this team, too, is they could string together like 4 or 5 wins. That's what Zim teams can do. And then it comes unglued. So, like, it would need to, for me personally, to be the launching pad to a long playoff run. And I just don't see that. So nothing that they do like on Sunday is going to make me say, oh my God, it's changing completely. I just need to see so much more, because I go back to last year, right? 1-5, you're a mess. We're all like, take the draft pick. They go to Green Bay and win. And then they string together a series of games and we all are like perking back up. Hey, what's going on here? And then they are like, nope, we're going to deflate it now. So that's why it's hard for me to be optimistic off such a small sample size.
I think it's difficult to project, but if they beat the Packers, they're a lock to make the playoffs. I think that's kind of my 2 cents here. I think they're a playoff team if they indeed beat the Packers on Sunday. And there's still a lot that can go wrong there. Right now, as of Football Outsiders, they have the Vikings at 48% to make the playoffs. They're almost basically a coin flip. I'd envision that they beat the Packers. That goes up, but probably not like anywhere near 60%. It probably hovers over 50, but it's still probably coin flippy that they're a playoff team in terms of their odds and just being in a crowded 7th seed in the NFC. But I will say if they beat the Packers, I think they're a lock to make the postseason. That's kind of where I'm at.
I'm kind of, there's multiple steps here. Like beating the Packers doesn't make them Super Bowl contenders because there's still a bunch of other games that you need to take care of. Now, I think if you beat the Packers and that unlocks a path to like 10 or 11 wins, and maybe one of those wins is over the Rams on the 26th of December. Now, there's another level we're talking about. But I think if they beat the Packers, it opens up the door for them to rattle off like 5 wins in a row or something, which we've seen, as Judd said, but then there's another sort of prove it mark going into January. So if they lose to the Packers, now we're talking about jobs on the line midseason again. So it is a real fork in the road game for this team, and if they win it, I will view them now in a playoff sense, but not a contender sense. But right now, I'm not even viewing them in a playoff sense because they haven't shown enough to this point. So we'll see. It's a really interesting game.
You like that? You like that?
Judd, I know you'll be drinking Surly Furious after this one's over.
Oh, no question about it. In fact, here's what I got today. I've got the hot pack right here. This is what you can now. This is the hot pack. Now this is the one that is my personal fave, the Furious IPA. But if you go out and you're like, you know what I'm gonna do this weekend? I'm gonna diversify my Surly buying. I'm gonna throw to Jefferson, throw to Thielen, have Cook run. How can I do that with Surly? It's the hot pack. Furious is your bell cow. That's your Dalvin Cook, right? But then you got these other stars. Surly Furious. Surly Brewing. It's where it's at.
All right, question number 3 here for Question Friday. If we did power rankings right now, we should bring back the pigskin pecking order.
Yeah,
next
we've
year.
done the pecking order
done it all year.
time.
Yeah, we should do the pigskin pecking order next year. Maybe we do it next year. We do the pecking order like all the way to where it's not just top 10 like it's been for 7 years, but
Vikings
it's where do the Vikings rank? So where would you guys rank the Vikings right now?
I was doing this exercise. I'd probably put them around 15th personally. I'd probably put them around 15th. I think that's fair. They are a borderline.
It's kind of low.
They're a borderline playoff team, but I mean they fit in with a bunch of teams. Like it's a hodgepodge. They fit in with a bunch of teams, so I'd put them around 15. I personally just need to see so much more. I feel like you turned a positive corner against the Chargers, but I need to see way more. I refuse to buy in until I see just a really long, sustained run of success. So, I mean, I put them with the Carolinas. I put them with the San Frans, who are a disappointment. No question about it. AFC around the same place has some decent teams, not great. So I think they fall in about 15.
Yeah, just looking at ESPN's power rankings going into this week, the Vikings are 19th behind the Raiders, Panthers, Colts, Steelers. The Panthers jumping up 8 spots because of the return of Cam Newton, so there's a little bit of hype there. I'm a big Cam guy. I do like Cam Newton, but I still think the Vikings are a better
They really
team.
jump up that much?
Yeah, they jumped up from 24 to 17, so
that seems aggressive.
7 spots, but still,
Interesting.
a big jump for them. I think they're better than the Panthers. They're probably on the same par as the Raiders if you want to cross-examine from AFC to NFC, but I would have them between 15 and 16. I don't think you can make a case that they're better than any of the top 15 teams right now in the NFL.
All right, I'm going to go through this exercise just in this way because I don't know. I feel like you guys have them a little low. No.
Here's how it starts. Vikings.
I'm going to go through. I have the PFF power rankings up right now. I'm going to go through and just kind of using this as a guide.
Sure.
The teams that I am really, really sure are currently better than the Vikings until the Vikings prove otherwise. So they actually have the Patriots number 1 right now, which the Patriots have a plus 123 point differential this year, which is nuts.
That is
Wow.
And they are now 7-4. So the Patriots are better. The Rams are better. The Cowboys beat the Vikings at home with a backup quarterback, so they're better. The Bills, I think the Ravens are better. That was a weird game. I think the
are
Ravens.
better.
I think the Ravens beat the Vikings 6 out of 10 times on a neutral field.
Totally agree.
Buccaneers are better. Titans are better. Cardinals, Packers until they prove otherwise are better.
Yep.
Boy, the Chiefs are weird. I'm going to say the Chiefs are better right now for sure, but that's
Chiefs beat Minnesota.
kind of week to week.
Right now, they beat them.
The Saints with a third-string quarterback, I can't put on that list. I know the Bengals beat the Vikings, but I think those are pretty even teams. The Niners, I think there's only like 10 teams I would say absolutely are better than the Vikings, and then they're in a hodgepodge of like 5 or 6 other teams. So you guys have them kind of toward the bottom of the hodgepodge. I'll put them more between like 11th and 14th in the hodgepodge.
They're cousins like.
Yeah. Is there any other teams that I'm missing that you think are definitively better? Like the Steelers are in the hodgepodge, the Browns. I know the Browns beat the Vikings, but I don't know that the Browns are definitively better than the Vikings.
The league is as usual decidedly average, and so like that's sort of what makes it fun. Now there's a ton of bad games, but what makes it fun is this, right? Like it's a close league. It's why you can't say they lost close games. It's bad luck. No, it's not. It's how this league is built. Like, can you win the close games? That becomes the question.
Who right now then? Because you're right. This is every team has at least 2 losses right now.
It's parity.
There's so many teams around 500. Mm-hmm. Who is your gun to the head Super Bowl winner right now?
Oh boy,
bonus question.
I guess a gun to the head, I'd probably go Tampa Bay again, just because they've got Brady. They've got like that's a team if they get to the playoffs can just win. They don't. So the thing about a team like Tampa too, and this is because of Brady in particular, when they're down or when things aren't going well, you don't feel like they're dead. Like if things go really bad for Kirk, you're like, okay, stick a fork in Kirk. And there's a lot of teams that feel like that. There are the best quarterbacks and best teams. They can lose and they're pissed, but then they just bounce back. So I probably would go Tampa. Like I can't go the Packers. I can't do that. The Cardinals I can't do. I like the Cardinals, but I can't do that. My AFC team might be the Titans.
So weird because everyone thought, they lost Derrick Henry, so they're screwed. It's like, well, maybe running backs aren't as if the best running back of this generation is not shipwrecking them being gone, then maybe
I like their coach a lot. Vrabel to me is I love how he is wired. He is the best extension I've seen of Belichick. Like among all of the Belichick assistants who have been just colossal screw ups, Vrabel played for Belichick. And he is as close to Belichick as far as the just don't give a bleep, we're going to do what we do mentality. I love that.
Okay, this is I want to say the Patriots. It's such recency bias because we just saw them last night just dismantling Matt Ryan. Poor Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Atlanta's,
Time to hang it up.
Yeah. But the Patriots look rock solid. It's very reminiscent of those early Tom Brady teams where the quarterback is doing enough, but the defense is amazing. And but I would say gun to the head Super Bowl winner. I think the Rams bounce back from a couple of bad games. They have so much talent. They're so well coached. Matthew Stafford's had a couple rickety games, but he's looked really good in most of their games. I would say the Cowboys, but I just feel like Mike McCarthy is going to do something like clock management wise.
Yeah, I don't trust
NFC Championship game or something.
Agreed.
He's going to do something stupid and just kind of get in the way. That's my thought. What about you, Declan?
Mm-hmm.
I know they got off to a slow start and they've been suspect and looked beatable, but I'm still taking the Chiefs. I still think the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to start turning things around. You still have the best quarterback in the league in my money for Pat Mahomes. Andy Reid's still the damn good coach. I wouldn't bet against the Chiefs right now. I think they're about to get hot. I'll still go Kansas City.
Yeah. If they beat the Cowboys, then they're really back, right? If they win this weekend, they're not back until they maybe win a game like
defensively, that's what concerns me.
All right, question number 4 here.
Yeah.
So our Would You Rather question of the week here, presented by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated's been around for over 100 years, providing risk management tools and resources for business owners. So if you want to sleep better at night, if you want to protect your employees, protect your business, just visit Federated Insurance and find out what they can do for you and find out full list of industries Federated protects. At Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Would you rather have a photographic memory He's just constantly remembering things. I had a friend in high school who had a photographic memory, and he could remember everyone's license plate number. Like one day we're all just kind of hanging out at a party or whatever, and it came up. He's like, yeah, he rattled off someone's license plate, and the guy was like, what? He goes, oh, yeah, I have a photographic memory. I know all of your license plates. And we were like, that's ridiculous. And he literally rattled off all of our license plates.
Damn.
So would you rather have a memory like that where you can just remember things or have an IQ of 200 or higher? So would you rather be a genius or have a photographic memory?
It's not even close. It's not even close. Photographic memory 100
Really?
out of 100 times. IQs are the most overrated.
Yes.
Boring. I don't care. People with high IQs can be stupid because they're
Or
socially.
they can be billionaires.
Yeah, well, great. You know what I want? I want in my job too. I would love to be able to have a recall across the board of things. Like for me, it's not even close. IQs. I have a high IQ. Well, that's great.
I think Jed and I are close to being in lockstep here. Here's the thing: I'm fine being who I am. I don't want to be have an IQ of 200. I'm okay
You don't
kind
have
of
a
being a little bit
photographic
of
memory?
aloof sometimes, but I want a photographic memory.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
agree.
I want a photographic memory over that. The IQ of 200, like I don't really want that. I don't want to have that knowledge. I think that also be detrimental to me. The reasons I'm me is because of my brain. So I want the photographic memory easily. That's no problem.
I'll take the IQ, man. I'm not saying it guarantees being a billionaire, but you could probably invent something or find some sort of niche to make a lot of money. Photographic memory, all right, so cool. Judd remembers the pasta that we had at Olive Garden 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I could
cool.
look at-
Congratulations.
But I mean, I could look at the back of this Mike Trout card and remember all his stats. That would help me.
Or you could just go to baseballreference.com and find them within 5 seconds.
Here's what I don't want. I have met so many people with high IQs who are basically just stupid because they have they lack street smarts. Like I would rather have street smarts. If my IQ could be street
Easily.
smarts, I'll take that. There is no, I mean, book smart people can be rich and fantastic, and that's awesome.
45% of billionaires
But a
rank
lot of-
among the smartest 1% of people in the U.S., right? Yeah, so increases your chances to own an island.
what?
Wouldn't that be great? You could
You know
own an
what?
island, dude. You could fly private.
I'd like to be rich. I don't need to be a billionaire though. Like I'd like to have
Taxes
I'd love
are
to
rough.
have more money, but I don't need to be a billionaire.
Okay.
Like I don't need to develop stuff. I don't need to invent stuff. That's other people. Like leave me alone.
By the way, Warren Buffett says the IQ score you need to succeed, whatever that means, is 130 or higher. So you can maybe you can be successful organically with a 130 or higher IQ, and then remember everything with your photographic memory.
but like
another
what's
option.
successful?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or like what-
it's just a CNBC headline. I don't know. He didn't.
Yeah. I don't want to be that rich. I think it'd be a pain.
Would it though? Would it
Well,
though?
no, I'm saying I'd like to have a
I wouldn't
few
work.
$1 million, but I don't need to be that rich. And I don't need to be, and I don't want to be relied upon either. Like, just leave me alone.
Well, don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, once you become like Bill Gates, Elon Musk level rich, then everyone's looking at you like, well, how are you going to fix all the world's problems?
Right,
You're like,
exactly.
I don't know. I just started.
Like,
a
are you
web-
going to donate? Like, are you helping with the vaccine? It's like, no,
Yeah.
shut up.
Like Jeff Bezos started a website to sell books like 25 years ago, and now he's the second richest person in the world, right? Or the richest person in the world.
Yeah.
Jeff, how are you going to fix all these world problems? He's like, I just want to. I don't know. I want to fly to space and just kind of screw around. Yeah, you're right about the obligations.
I
You
think
want
you
to
also
settle.
get-
You want to settle in a little lower profile.
But I
rich,
also
right?
think you get really weird. Like this whole space thing to me is weird. Like rich people are basically competing with each other to like barely go into space so they can say they've been. Like, what's happened to you?
Wouldn't it be amazing to be so rich that you're like, yeah, this planet's effed. Let's just go to a different one and build our way there.
Build a Mark Laurie. That's what Mark Laurie might do.
Well, but he's staying on Earth with his.
no,
city,
I know,
right?
but what if he didn't? Like what if we got the Mars Wolves
That's it.
tonight?
Well, if they
tonight at 3 a.m.
if
It's
they
the
lose
San
to the
Antonio Spurs.
if they lose to the Pelicans again, you can blast them to Mars for all I care.
It's the Spurs and Wolves.
But even though they lost to the Pelicans, look at these charitable acts that Carl Anthony Towns.
Coming up next on Mars Sports
It's a winter
Live.
coat drive.
Hey, look, Randy Dobnak paid his parents' mortgage. Wait, that's an actual headline.
Yeah,
That actually happened.
and the subtext should be with the money he stole from the Minnesota Twins. I'm sure he seems like a great guy, but I mean that contract. Come on,
Dude, he barely even pitched this year for the Twins because he was terrible and then hurt.
do they try and sell that type of crap in like Boston, Philadelphia, New York?
I don't know, man.
Seriously.
If you want to hear us gripe about the other Minnesota sports teams, Mackey and Judd is where you can find that every day. This is Purple Daily, daily Vikings entertainment and therapy largely this season. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us.